Alright, DBS community, welcome back to another video here with Kyle Chris. And today I'm going to be going over a build I was piloting in the PPG UW Cup, which is going to be Xeno Sin. Ended up, I think I scrubbed out at X2, I think it was. I honestly just didn't feel like playing the dad anymore. I was getting ready to actually leave for Arizona in a few days, so just wanted to pack, take a day off, and had some pretty good matches, some of which you'll see on the YouTube channel here. I've actually recorded some of them, but yeah, I think we were 3-2. The last match that I lost was, I think, due to time, and I was kind of a little irritated by it, so it's like, all right, we're just gonna call it a day and go get some stuff done around the house. So I think the deck played very well. I think with the new promo coming out, I think this deck actually is going to get a million times better. I'm going to talk about some of the changes I would actually make in this deck. Now, UW format doesn't really change the deck too much, but best of one does, and that definitely has a hindrance on what you can play, because some of the cards you do want to play, you have to main board them then, and it just doesn't end up being the same. So we'll start here with the secret rare, Corrupted by Darkness. This is the current secret rare of choice, mainly because it's searchable. It is an incredibly good defensive piece. As long as you're not playing against a green Bardock Unison deck, this card is absolutely snapped. You play it, you tap one, and then you tap another one to play it, and you tap down a bunch of stuff. If your opponent sequences out of order, you can tap down a ton of things, including dual attackers, which can essentially just buy you a turn. It's like a better version of an Oceanus, because they can't counter it unless they're playing God Sealing. Which most blue, there wasn't a lot of blue in the format. Now, with the new promo coming out, you have the ability to play the Black Smoke Dragon SCR or the Negative Energy Ball. I think both are good. I think both are good alternatives. It's mainly the Energy Ball. I think that card is actually pretty good because it gives you in archetype board removal. That goes through barrier, and that actually ends up being very powerful in some matchups because there are a few cards, mainly in yellow, that can basically make this deck completely useless. So being able to just remove the entire board for free is very powerful. So next is going to be Omega. This is the triple striker you play out for 2. One of the games I actually ended up looping 2 of these because they killed it. Very powerful card. I'm probably going to end up bumping this up to 2 for best of 1, and best of 3, I'll probably still just main deck 1 and side deck the other one, just because it's not going to come up a lot. But there are matchups where you do want to go for kills, and this is a very good way of being able to do that. Next is going to be Omega. We run 3 of the Darkness Absorbed. This is your 30k warp anything come into play for 1 energy. It's also unique. I think we may keep this at 3 for best of 3, and then just side 1 out for one of these 8 drops or something. It is a very good card, but when I was playing against, I really didn't need the spot removal, or at least I didn't really feel like I did. So we'll see. But it's a very good card now. Next is going to be the Unison. Obviously, for this, you have to play 4. In the one game that I truly lost, was against Yellow Whis, which you probably will see on the channel here. Didn't see this for a few turns, and it ended up kind of costing me the game. That and another play that I made, which you'll see probably in the video. But you kind of need this online to be able to deal with, especially with aggro decks that have 15Ks or less. You need this so you can activate your extra card for free. Also just gives you a way to be able to build up some markers, and just gives you another attacker if you absolutely need to. So definitely good there. 2 of the 4-drop. Honestly, I wanted to play it. I never felt comfortable playing it. 4 out of my 5 games were red matchups, and I felt like everyone was going to be running Vegeta. So tapping 4 for this, for it to just get removed by their Vegeta, it just felt really, really bad. So I didn't want to run it. But this is mainly here for blue. You run this against blue decks. You use this to kill their blue Unisons. Also, it allows you to just gain another card that can help you mill them out, which is definitely one of your biggest win conditions here. So we still main deck 2. I probably would have bumped this down to 1 for the format, but we tried to go with the 4. 4 super combos. They're searchable. That's why you run them. So running 4 of those. 4 Oceanus, same thing. people were hitting me with all types of stuff. I was getting hit with the Tyrannical Blow. Super annoying card, right? Yeah, very irritating. Very irritating card. I actually hate that card. Vegeta Resolve Renewed. I think I got hit with it maybe once. Again, a lot of red decks and then the one yellow deck. So you still have to run it at 4. So it's just incredibly good. Your opponent's going to know that you're trying to play it. So you hold up more energy rather than just the 4. But I actually have a better option for this that we can just kind of use to bait out more targets for our opponent. And we have the 1-drops here. So we have 3 Natron and 4 Haze. Natron first, so Natron here. Grab you back an extra card from the drop. I bumped it up to 3. Actually felt pretty cool. I think for best of 1, I think 3 is probably the answer. Because you want to see this guy so you can loop some of your you know, depending on which extra card that you need, you can just kind of loop them back and forth. Just use it, play this, grab it back, have it for next turn, kind of thing. For best of 3s, this is definitely a 2, you know, a 2 of. And then for the 1-drop, I actually didn't see it enough. But you have a ton of targets that you can play off of this guy. Some of which actually kind of changed up for the deck, and I'll kind of go over why. So we have 4 Nova. This is pretty standard here. You can pitch it to search top 5 for anything other than the 8 drops. You also can play it as an attacker, which I definitely did a few times. I have learned to actually, outside of swinging with my leader, not swing at my opponent unless I'm swinging for crit. And you have 7 crit guys in this deck. You have these guys here. And this Nova as well. The negative energy explosion. So this guy here actually was a last minute add. And I was kind of thinking of the matchup I was going to play against. Hint, hint, you know, U7. So I was thinking of that. And the 3-drop Haze, which is, I probably have it here somewhere. So this guy here, this is a card that a lot of lists max out on 4 because this card is incredibly powerful, right? It swings, it warps something, restands at the end of the turn. It's pretty powerful, right? In a best of 1 format though, especially with the UW stuff, it's, you know, a lot of people were going to be playing red, right? Resolve Renewed is probably the best card in UW format, or one of the best cards in UW format. And this being a 15K, it's going to get hit. What's good about the Nova is that this is a 16K. So the Resolve Renewed can't hit it. And also, if they use the Goku Sign of Mastery counterplay, they can neg this by 15 and it will still, you know, stay in play. It is a 16K crit, so you can swing at it for 16K crit. The other good thing about it is that you has an auto where you can play out your unison from the drop area with a marker on it. Now, what's interesting about this text, it says play up to 1 of the Toa unisons from your drop with a marker on it. It does not say if you don't have a unison in play. So essentially what you can do is if you have a unison in play, you do the effect, you do whatever, right? You +1, you do whatever, right? You can then play this to play that Toa back out from the drop area, and it would replace the unison you have in play, giving it another marker, and then you can plus up and do the cycle again. That's only really good if you have like 1 marker on your unison. But in other places, when you actually -7, if you -7 on your unison, you can play out 7 dragons. You play this guy out instead of him, because this will just replay the unison out from the drop area, as well as this card also having the same effect. When you play this, doesn't matter where it's played from, you get to search out an extra card. So you play these 2 out off the -7, you search an extra card, and you get to play your unison again. So it's like a +9, +10. It's incredibly powerful. But yeah, this is definitely the best cards to swing at your opponent with. The 3-drop Haze is cool. I think in a best of 3 format, if red's not the best color, I think Haze gets a little bit better. But I think Nova is just overall just a better card. Just being a 16K, it's a little bit harder to kill. So we got those. Other 3-drops include 2 Rage, 2 Ice, 2 Natron, and 3 Sin. So the Rage is probably going to end up getting cut when the new promo comes out. Not going to lie. Mainly because it's a 1-drop negate. And then negate is an extra card, so it can't, there's a lot of things that can't counterplay it. And 2, it makes your opponent mill. So this card's cool. Where is it at? I'm going to show you guys the spice now. This card's going to replace it. the negative energy explosion guy, mainly because he's a 16k, and also you can combo this guy away to restand your leader, and also burst you a card. So this actually puts two dragons in the drop area, which helps you kind of awaken early, especially in those aggro matchups. Or if your opponent's trying to kill your unison, you can use this to restand your leader, and then your leader blocks again, and then your unison gains a second marker. So this is definitely going to replace the rage, but we're going to cut the rage completely out of the main deck, and probably use it for the promo slot. Ice and Natron did a little bit of work. This one probably more so than the other one. This has barrier blocker, restand at the end of the turn. This is actually very good for yellow matchups. If they steadfast, you can play this. It comes in rest mode, and then it'll just restand at the end of the turn. Natron is probably the best because Natron has deflect. So if your opponent goes to resolve renew, he's a 20k, so he can be hit anyways, but he also has deflect. Your opponent goes to God Sealing, you play this. They steadfast, you play this. You know what I'm saying? It's just a really, really good card. And then this card comes into play and then absorbs a battle card 5 or less on board or in the drop. And then you gain a keyword skill. So this is also a better substitute than the Haze, because Haze, Haze has to swing in order to get the effect off. Well, if Haze can't swing, if it dies or gets put in rest mode, it gains no effect. What's nice is that Natron gains the effect on play, so it doesn't matter what happens to him then. As long as he gets played, you can absorb a card. So what's cool is that you can play this, like against the U7, you can play this, absorb their Frieza, gain dual attack, and then you can swing twice, maybe at their 17, maybe at their leader, maybe at something else on board, and you can use it to kind of clear or just restand because he is a blocker as well. And then the last card is Sin Power of Darkness, aka Black New Ruler. The pre-releases up front because this should have been a 4 of. I'm actually probably going to sleeve up a 4th one probably after this video, this card is needed at 4. There are certain matchups where you just don't get to see your 1-drop Haze, which makes it problematic because then you can't play most of your deck. So this guy just being a 1 cost after you Spirit Boost is incredibly powerful. And there's a lot of times where you can just play an extra card and then play him for 1. And then he mills your opponent 1 whenever he's played off Spirit Boost, and then also searches the top card of the deck. He's a 20k double strike, and he's limit 1, so you play 1 on your opponent's turn, you play 1 on your turn. But having this card, I'm probably never going to charge this card again. This card's going to get played out so much more, just because it accelerates the ramp. I mean, not the ramp. It accelerates the mill just a little bit more. Just having that 1 extra or 2 extra every few turns definitely makes a difference. So we're going to bump this up to 4. Now for the spells, 4 negative energy explosion and 3 ultimate wind. I think it's fine. You need to have this at 4 so you can actually see your unison. There's a lot of times I actually didn't see my unison, which was kind of a bummer. This I think maybe going down to 2. I don't know. I have to figure it out. Space is really tight, especially even at 60. So, but this card is really good. Being able to cycle stuff. I did use the second effect where you can give your leader 1k for the turn. I used that one in my matchups, which ended up being pretty cool because it puts my leader at 16. It's kind of like a little bean that you can use. So I may get rid of 1 of the 2 of these. I don't know yet. I haven't fully figured it out yet. I actually may bump this up to 4. Who knows? This may change completely by the next video. We'll have to see. 3 minus balls. I don't know. I kind of wanted to run this at 4. Just because it is a free mill, which is also why I like the new promo, because it's a 1-drop negate that it can just mill them, just for playing defense. This may go back up to 4. It also is a 15k combo once per turn, so it does have some other uses. So I actually may bump this up to 4 just because we don't have a lot of combo power in the deck since we run a lot of extra cards. So this actually may end up getting bumped back up. Ultimate Ice Ray. I want to run 4 of this card. This card is absolutely snapped. I'm probably just going to end up maining 3 or 4 of these. You pitch 2 cards. If they're dragons, the battle card dragons, you can actually search the top 2 cards of your deck, and if they're both dragons, you grab them back since they're pitched off of a dragon effect. But it stops your opponent. Your opponent can only attack with battle cards 1 more time for the turn. Just kind of like a mini floodgate, and then you can use this to top it off with an Oceanus, or just use this, and then you can kind of pick apart their battle cards in the combo step. with some of your extra cards to kind of get rid of stuff. But this card is an absolute must, I think, as a 3 of. I didn't see enough. The one time I charged one and I didn't see the second one, and it cost me the game. So definitely going to bump that up. Dragon Slaying Bullet. This is definitely a 2 of, but I think one in the main, one in the side. I just wanted the main 2 just in case. The matchup against Whis, I lost. He aggroed me down to 3 life on turn 2. And I should have... I ended up charging... I think I ended up using a Whirlwind. I had this in my hand, and I should have just played it. I should have waited for him to play Vados, his Unison, so then it would stop him from being able to tackle, the entire turn. But for whatever reason, my brain didn't allow me to do that. I don't know. It was really, really weird. So I should have did that. Ended up costing me the game. So, but this card is definitely necessary in the deck. Stops your opponent from being able to swing a bunch. Also, if they play a Unison, they have to put in the drop area, or they only get 1 attack. So the second effect is like a remote serious bomb. They choose a battle card and they get to warp it. In one of the matchups you'll see, I did end up making a misplay. I used this and I chose a card on my opponent's board, and I warped it when he was attacking. When he had another card on board that he could have warped, that game honestly wouldn't have mattered. I think it was against U7, one of the many U7s that I played that day. I think because he had 0 cards in hand, I had like 5 at 2 life, so he wouldn't have been able to kill me anyways. But I did warp that. Kind of made a slight difference. I would have just, it would have been warped next turn. I don't think it would have mattered too much. Two Dragon Quake. Got 2 of my games with this. They swung in with Vegeta. Kind of hand dumped a little bit, and I just warped it. Very, very, very good. Definitely a 2 of. Probably a 3rd one on the side deck. Rest of 3. And then the last 2 going to be Flame Shot and Dragon Tackle. Both amazing cards. This is your Brainwash No More, saves you. And then this is the your opponent has a Unison in play. They take 2 markers off. If not, you get to draw a card and warp something. Since these are all 2-drop extra cards, opponent has to warp, has to mill 1 for these plus your leader, which is why they're really good. However, these are very situational. So Ultimate Dragon, I'm very glad I only ran the 1. If your opponent doesn't have a Unison in play, this card becomes useless. You actually cannot activate it anymore, which is why we want to add more of this to kind of substitute for it. I would definitely side a second one, and then matchups that play a lot of Unisons, especially like the Cooler deck coming out. I'm going to use this. I'm going to probably main 2 or 3 of these, like probably maybe 1 in the main. If Cooler becomes really popular, I'll probably, add a 2nd or a 3rd to the sideboard. But this deck does a very good job with dealing with Unisons. So sometimes you actually need to, if you have this in hand, you need to make sure you're not just killing their Unison, because this will help you kind of mill them out and, take off cards off the board or their Unison itself. This card, you have to crit a life. So if you're at 1 life, this card is useless again. So you can't actually use it. So it becomes a little bit of a problem. So I think the 1 is fine. 1 is fine for here. I wouldn't go any more, but we're going to definitely bump up the Ice Ray to kind of counteract the fact that these 2 are so situational. So as I said, for changes, definitely going to be adding, instead a 3rd one of these at the very minimum. We'll probably add a 4th one of these. Definitely going to add a 4th Sin. We may bump up Natron to 3, maybe even 4. Probably get rid of one of the Natrons there. Like I said, whenever we're going to make room for the new promo, I have to figure out how I want to fit it into the deck, but that's going to be a 4 of in this deck for sure. That, and then as well as the one of the new supported secret rares, quote unquote. So I don't know which one I want to run yet fully. I'm leaning more towards the energy overflow just because of the board wipe. So we'll kind of see at that point. But that is the deck that I ran. I believe we had 3 U7 matchups. Those were all wins. We had the 1 yellow Whis, which, like I said, I misplayed really hard, and he ended up just kind of taking advantage of it, and I wasn't really able to build enough of a board to survive. I think I got him down to about 5 cards in deck, and I just couldn't mill out from that point. And then the last match was against, I think it was against a red Goten deck. I actually don't know what his deck does because he didn't really do anything. He played the Gohang Secret Rare, and I don't know, kind of a weird matchup. Kind of slow played me a little bit, but that's okay. That is what it is, right? It's webcam. So that's all I have for you guys today. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the video. I will probably be putting this deck away until the new promo comes out, just because I don't really have much more that I can really build upon with the deck right now. I'll probably be moving over to something else black related. So we'll go from there. But thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.